Yeah. Let's see if they join. They should be joining soon. Oh, they're in here.
Oh, perfect. There you go.
Invite to speak. There's a request as well. Approve. Yeah, perfect.
Worked out really well.
Yeah, perfect. And the Rainforest Foundation is a speaker.
Hi, it's Suzanne, Rainforest
Hi.
Foundation.
Hi.
Hi, Suzanne. How are
Hi,
you?
Suzanne.
Good, how are you?
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you for joining
We
us.
were a little bit worried because we couldn't send a DM to the Rainforest Foundation
Uh-oh.
just earlier today, right? But it all worked out in the end.
Okay, good. I'm here.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
So we usually just give a few more minutes for a few more folks to join. We have advertised this space. We want to make sure that everybody had a chance to come and talk to you directly, Suzanne, and the Rainforest Foundation. So we are super excited.
Great, well, I'm happy to be here.
Just
How was
gonna
your
get a
day?
couple more of those.
So we're here in Toronto, Canada. It's a little bit cold over here. You're in New York, correct, Suzanne?
Yes. Yeah.
How's the weather down there right now?
It's like the weird season where you get these wild fluctuations day to day. You know, it's either 20 degrees or 70 degrees. So today's kind of in the middle.
Over here where we are today was pretty warm, but then the weekend it was -8 Celsius, which is, I don't know how much in Fahrenheit, but yeah, it's definitely really cold compared to what you're used to down there.
Well, yeah, I'm ready for spring.
Yeah,
for
so
sure.
are we. So are we.
Yeah, I was just in Peru, and it was so nice to be in the warm weather.
Oh my God.
So I came back, and it was like in the 20s last week.
Were you down there for quite a while, or just a few weeks, or?
A couple weeks.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was great because I hadn't been since before the pandemic. I was there right like up at the end of February 2020, right before kind of some of the last lights out sort of thing. So it was really nice to go back.
Definitely.
Yeah, that must have put a big big hamper on your actual efforts for the Rainforest Foundation to provide adequate service or help to the industry.
Yeah, well, we have a team down in Peru, that are Peruvian citizens. So they could keep working, but with the pandemic, there's everything shut down. So we had to immediately just shift to the forest protection work. Had to, our engagement with the communities had to stop because there was no traveling back and forth. So we just full on switched to COVID education, information dissemination, helping get PPE, and it was all COVID for a year and a half.
Yeah, it affected a lot of people. I know that.
Yeah, it really affected the Indigenous communities much worse than the general population because their healthcare is pretty non-existent in the communities, and it's very hard. They're remote. It's hard for them to get to hospitals. The people who needed it. So we had to do some air evacuations and special, trying to get oxygen to different places. But they were resilient.
It's like, when you really hear, about the reality of how life there is, like you think about how privileged we are here in Canada, or, whoever's in the United States or first world country for that matter. So I'm originally from Honduras, Central America, but I immigrated with my family here when I was 8. So, I know a little bit of how it was back home, obviously, but not the entirety, because obviously I grew up in Canada. But yeah, I remember going to visit my grandparents, and they live in a smaller village. Like my parents said we lived in a city, but when you go to the village, like you really, if you want to take a shower, you have to go to the well. You have to get the water out of the well. There's no such thing as running water. You may get electricity for like a few hours a day, but you can't depend on it. So I know a little bit of that, not too much.
Yeah.
So Mark, did you want to? Sorry, Suzanne. I think we're ready to start the show now. Mark, did you want to start it off?
Yeah, definitely. It's 7:03. I think we can start. More people will roll in as they come in. So usually when we first start our spaces, we just give a brief description of who we are, and we are the experts, part of the XRPL Rainforest. along with ex-chameleons who are not here, but we're here with their spirit. And my name is Mark, one of the co-founders of the XParrots and XRPL Rainforest. And we have a project, NFT project, hosted on the XRPL ledger, where we are giving 5% of our NFTs to the Rainforest Foundation to help with their rainforest preservation efforts.
Great. And my name is Miguel. I'm also a co-founder for the XRPL Rainforest, XParrots, XChameleons. I've been an investor in XRP for a while. I do have a day job. I am a project manager working in the banking industry, which I think, those skill sets really help out in regards to running this project as well. And I'm also very excited to have the Rainforest Foundation here, Suzanne, who's going to talk to us, who's going to talk to our community about what they're doing from a preservation perspective to save the rainforest, and how we're working together with them in order to help out that cause in any way, shape, or form that we can. So, Suzanne, I would pass it over to you, give a brief introduction, and we have a few questions. I think we did send you the questions in advance that we wanted to ask you, and that way our community is able to get to know the Rainforest Foundation and yourself a little better. So just tell us about yourself, what's your role within the foundation, and how long you've been there.
Sure. I'm Suzanne Pelletier. I'm executive director. The Rainforest Foundation, we're based in New York City. We're based in Brooklyn. And I've been executive director for 13 years now. And we have a team in the United States and also in a couple countries. So we have a team of like 20 people in the United States. We have about 12 people in Peru, one person in Panama, a couple in Guyana. And we're focused, we were founded about 30 years ago and focused on working with Indigenous people to protect forests and assert their rights. So that's the short version.
Awesome. Yes, perfect. Great introduction. And so we'll just jump right into the next one just to kind of get the ball rolling here. You have your preservation efforts and your approach. Do you mind just giving a brief description of what type of preservation efforts you guys encompass and how you approach those issues?
Sure. We always, we work on rainforest protection, always in partnership with Indigenous communities. So that's really what has always set us apart from other organizations, that we combine, human rights, Indigenous rights with rainforest protection. And so by working with Indigenous communities, one of their biggest demands is always land rights. Because if you talk with Indigenous people and leaders, they all say that, if they need their land in order to maintain their well-being. So for Indigenous communities, they're really tied to the resources in their territories. They'll often talk about how, the forest is their pharmacy, it's their supermarket, it's the source of their spirituality, their identity. And so when they think about bettering their life, it always sort of comes down to, first and foremost, land rights, that they want to be secure, that the land and the territory that they've been living on for generations, that they have security in being able to be there and to live in that place for future generations. And so we sort of coined this approach, this rights-based approach to forest protection. We don't just think about the biodiversity in an area. We really think about working with local communities to protect their forest in a way that protects their rights. So we believe that when you look around the world, the forests that are the best protected, that have the lowest deforestation rates, those forests are squarely where Indigenous peoples live and have secure rights. So that's always the approach. The first thing we always do is help them with the process. There's a whole process that, most countries, we work in Central and South America. And so in those countries, in most countries in Central and South America, in the national constitution, there is provisions for Indigenous peoples to have rights to their territory. But just because something's in the constitution doesn't mean that it actually is happening in real life.
Exactly. Yeah. It's an unfortunate truth. Like,
Yeah. And so, we help support financially and with technical capacity the process that communities have to go through to protect their land. So a lot of that has to do with, first off, mapping what is theirs and proving that they use and have lived in a certain area, and then with those maps, a lot of advocacy and bureaucracy to go through to claim their lands. So we've gone through that process with communities throughout Central and South America. We also have two sister organizations, one in the UK and one in Norway, and so collectively we work in Africa and Asia. The other two Rainforest Foundations work in Asia and Africa. So collectively, we've helped communities protect 30 million acres over the years. So long term,
oh wow,
that's
yeah.
incredible.
Yeah. So that's a big thing that we always do, and a big part of that is helping support the local institutions and their capacity, whether they're community leadership or federations. The Indigenous people have a governance system that they have, within their community. They have a governance system and leaders, and then it works its way up, just like we do in the United States or Canada. There's regional representative organizations, national representative organizations for Indigenous people. So a lot of what we have done is help make sure that those institutions are strong, so that they can help their base to protect their rights in their forest.
That's incredible.
So, yeah, and then over the years, as communities, once they have their rights, that's not the end. It's there still are a lot of threats, because land title is a piece of paper.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone can come in there and take it from you with force, unfortunately.
Exactly. And so we more and more have helped communities with their territorial protection and monitoring systems. And so all communities have their own traditional ways of monitoring what's going on in their territory and dealing with threats from the outside. And increasingly over the years, we've helped train and integrate the latest technology with those traditional governance systems. So we've used a lot with satellite imagery. We've just found that there's so many technical tools now that are free and easy to use, open source. And so there's a worldwide database of deforestation alerts around the world, which we help communities access that information and then use it at the local level. We've trained communities to use drones to collect evidence of deforestation. Smartphones where people can take images of illegal activity and then put that into maps. So a lot of what we're doing recently is integrating that sort of technology at the local level.
Yes, and I think we saw some videos where, some of the folks that work with you are using drones, and I guess to take pictures of the forest, and then based on the pictures, you're able to compare it to previous pictures.
Yes.
And that way you're able to tell, I guess, where there's trees or that are missing or deforestation has occurred.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and it's incredible. There's a system, it's called Global Forest Watch, that you can just go onto the website and you can look at anywhere around the world, and you can put in a map and get updates, every week or so, and alerts when there's a deforestation happens in that area.
Live up to date updates, right?
It's a lag of a few days. That's it.
Well,
that's fine.
Still,
Yeah.
not so bad given the circumstance, right?
Yeah. So we've integrated that with this open source software, app on for phones, and we have a whole system now where we train in a few different places around some of the countries where we work. We've helped create what we call a data hub, where we train a few young technicians to be able to use that information and download it into maps. And then we get those maps usually on USB drives, because there's no Wi-Fi in most of the communities. And so we get those USB drives to communities, and we've trained a few monitors, patrollers in each community to download that information into their phones, go verify the information, bring it back to the community, and then work with the community to decide what action they want to take. So it's a whole system that we've been doing for the past about 5 years.
It's incredible. Yeah. I guess I wanted to ask you, obviously with your experience of, helping out in those different areas, what are the challenges that you're finding? Is it more related to governments that even if you win the title to land, the government may change, hence they don't respect it? Or is it more trying to make that connection with the Indigenous people? And then, what if somebody within the Indigenous community, the leadership changes? I'm not sure how it works, but where do you see the challenges based on your experience?
Yeah. Well, there's always the threats from the outside sort of depend region by region. So I take, for example, in Peru, where we work, a lot of the threats is from coca production for drug trafficking.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. They're usually small areas of less than 5 acres. They're sort of just these little spots all around the rainforest. So that's the big thing in Peru. It's different than other countries. In Brazil, there's these big agribusiness that are, leveling huge areas of rainforest. But in Peru, it's these small areas. So in the communities in Peru, it's dangerous because there's a lot of, there's a lot of, obviously all the reasons you can think of.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly what the movies are showing is.
I was thinking about that. Narcos.
Yeah.
Peru or Bolivia, right? The same thing. It's just where coca leaves are grown.
Yep. And they're mafias, and they, are tied in with illegal logging. So illegal logging is obviously an issue. Also, a lot of times they're tied together. They're just trying to make money, however they can. So in that case, it's dangerous for the communities. A lot of leaders, there's a lot of threats against leaders. And in case people are not familiar, in Latin America and across the world, it's increasingly dangerous for what we call land rights defenders, people that are just speaking up and trying to stop deforestation around the world. Latin America, extremely dangerous. Someone is, I forgot, it was something like 200 people, I think, were killed last year, land rights defenders.
Wow.
It's
just
really,
trying to live, right?
Yeah, just trying to live, make a living. So
how is it for you when you go down there? Do you feel safe? Do you have protection? Like, do you know your way around? I'm guessing you do, but
yeah, I'm always with my team. I think we're safe. It's more the people that have to live there every day.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So the threats are mainly, I'll use Peru as an example just because I was just there,
Yeah, actually, isn't there an article I think just came out from Rainforest Foundation? I've seen a Twitter post about the Panama government reversing some type of destruction thing there.
Yeah, there's one of the issues with land rights is it's often not as simple as the Indigenous communities saying that, oh, this area is ours, because now over the time there's often other people living on their land or other businesses there. So that what happened in Panama is the Panamanian government, the Indigenous community had rights over a certain area, but then the government now is claiming that these other people have rights over the area. So they're siding with the other people, not the traditional, users of the.
And I'm guessing the other people are probably the type that just want to deforest, build a mall or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, what a coincidence.
Yeah.
So what happens in that case then, if in the case where you helped out the Indigenous in Panama to be able to get the title to their land, but then the government comes and reverses it, do you then help out with the legal process of trying to challenge that?
Yes.
As the organization, I mean. Yes.
Yep. We're already hiring a lawyer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, to help. Yep. Because this can't continue. We can't have this precedent be set that the government just overturn these rulings. So that's something that we'll do. Like hire a lawyer, a local lawyer that knows the system, and try to support that. So supporting a local lawyer, and also I'm assuming support like local actions by the Indigenous people, their advocacy to be able to travel to the capital to go talk with their elected officials and make sure that their voice is heard.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you work in Brazil. You just came back from Peru, and I know you stated that in Central America you're also working. But when we talked to Marina, she did state that work with Central America has recently begun. How is that going?
Yeah. So we've worked in Panama for many years, but we're working in 5 countries, it's just beginning. We're supporting a couple of things. There's some of their monitoring work, like I described. Also, we're helping them set up they have a territorial fund. They want to be able. One of the big demands of Indigenous leadership is that they want to be able to financially support projects that are important to their communities. And what happens is, if there is international funding available for community development projects, the money never gets to the local level. It never reaches the Indigenous communities. And in fact, our sister organization, Rainforest Foundation Norway, just did a report last fall called Falling Short, where they analyzed all of the international climate finance money, and they found that less than 1% of all of the money going for climate change goes toward Indigenous peoples' issues. And of that 1%, like a tiny fraction of that actually even makes it to an Indigenous organization.
Wow. I mean,
That's incredible.
is that the main focal point on why you had reached out to the crypto industry, I guess, to start accepting donations in cryptocurrencies?
No, that was just in general for our work. Yeah.
Okay.
This direct financing, it's a demand by the Indigenous people, and we try, as an organization, we try to pass through as much funding as possible directly to the communities and organizations that we work with. Yeah, it's really important for all of us. And so this Territorial Fund in Central America, this will help with that. So it's an actual mechanism. I mean, it doesn't sound like the most, it's not drones and satellite images and stuff, but it's a really important institution for the Indigenous leaders to set up, so that they can have a very transparent, buttoned up, fund that they can attract funding from, like governments and international aid agencies, and that they can then take ownership of that to support the work in their communities that's going to make a difference for their economic development in the future. So we're helping set that up.
And previously you mentioned, obviously, so Rainforest Foundation US, you have sister foundations as well, Rainforest Norway, and also UK.
Yes.
And do you separate which forest each of the organizations helps out? Is there overlap? How does that work?
There's a little bit of overlap, but yeah, Rainforest Foundation UK works in the Congo Basin in Africa only, and we work in Central and South America, and Rainforest Foundation Norway works in Papua New Guinea and Indonesia, as well as Africa and the Amazon. They have the Rainforest Foundation Norway gets a lot of funding from the Norwegian government to support the Amazon and forest protection. So they have a large program in the Amazon. So we collaborate. It's not like we have turf battles or anything. It's more we complement each other.
Imagine turf battles among charities. That'll be so fun. Yeah. What are you doing here?
Especially charities that we have the same mission and the same.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, this is my tree. I'm saving this tree. No. I guess one of the questions the community has asked multiple times is, obviously they're going to help out by buying our NFTs. A portion of those NFTs are going to the foundation.
Yep.
But there's some people who want to do more, possibly volunteer, be there in person. Do you have a program like that where, anybody who really wants to support and be there in person, hands-on, is able to join? Is there anything like that? I know right now because of COVID it's hard to travel, but later on, possibly?
We don't have anything like that. It's just the nature of the work that we do. It just doesn't lend itself that sort of volunteer opportunities. It's very, you have to have special access to even go into the communities.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking too. Because it doesn't sound like you're going to it's not like you go when you go to Dominican, you go to a 5-star resort, you stay within the resort. You're going really into the reality of saving the rainforest. There's no such thing.
Yeah. And, and these are, we're going into people's homes and, so we just don't have that sort of setup for field volunteers.
And the good thing is that, obviously you have added XRP to the crypto donation page before. I think you had Bitcoin, you may have had Ethereum, you didn't have XRP, but now you have XRP. So aside from people buying the NFTs, and that obviously there's going to be profits allocated to your foundation from there. If they want to, they can at least directly, donate over your site directly in XRP. So that's amazing. We're really happy about that.
Yeah.
Which is carbon neutral, which is very good for the rainforest, right?
Yep.
So that was one of our main focuses too when we started our NFT project, was to be on something that was sustainable and good for the environment, and that's why we chose XRPL Ledger.
And actually, one of the ways that I found out about the Rainforest Foundation US is because I was looking for charities that accepted crypto as a donation tool, and yours came up because it was a Coinbase article that I think you gave an interview to. Can you tell us about how that came about? How did you end up doing that article with Coinbase? Sorry, CoinDesk.
CoinDesk. That's the one from 2019, right? Because there was one in 2015 also.
I think it's a 2019 one that I found. Yes.
I'm going to go back for a second to 2014. We started developing a cryptocurrency called BitSeeds. We launched it in 2015. And our idea back then was that, the traditional way, the issues in the Amazon and deforestation were so big, and we just were kind of frustrated that the traditional funding that was available for forest protection was just too slow and not enough. Like, we're looking at, if we're really going to try to save the Amazon, it's not going to happen with these, foundation grants here and there, or small government grants. And so we saw that maybe in this space of blockchain, and remember, this is 2014, like, we didn't know what we were doing, but I saw this space and it's like, God, this is just so many people that are thinking differently and thinking about how they could change the world and change the financial system, the monetary system, change the way business is done. And I thought that, there really needed to be that change of mindset in the philanthropy space too. And when I thought about, we had, at that point, we were about a 30-year-old organization. I looked at the next 30 years and I was like, the Amazon is going to be gone if we're going to continue to support this sort of forest protection work in the same way. So that's when we tried to launch this cryptocurrency that would be supporting our work. It would be like minting a certain amount every month and putting it into the market. That project ended up not working. I mean, we learned a ton from it. We did things wrong, but it kept us and kept me in the space. So we've worked on a bunch of projects here and there since then. And in 2019, that was when, in August, was when those fires in the Amazon were all over the newspapers.
Yep, I remember that. Yep.
Yeah. And it was during that time when we just thought, this crisis, maybe this is a time to do a special campaign. So we did a campaign. We've worked with a company called The Giving Block, which helps it helps people make crypto donations to charity. They have a widget that's on our website also. So at the time we were talking to them, and they helped us with this campaign that we called Crypto Firefighter campaign, and tried to raise some funds to support the fighting the fires in the Amazon. So that's when that article came out, because of that campaign. Yeah, and we raised some, but it wasn't a huge success. And the terrible, sort of story, it was fantastic that the fires were terrible that year. were hit the newspapers, and it was really this like global awakening to the issue. The sad part is the fires were just as bad the next year, and no one covered it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they were even worse.
It's no longer the news, so nobody covers it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So would you say that because you had that little spell with the cryptocurrencies, that cryptocurrencies was always something that the Rainforest Foundation was interested in?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Since then, we've been involved in projects ongoing for, I think, since then. Yeah, little things here and there, not so much. We obviously we have, we take donations in cryptocurrency, but we've just done these pilot projects here and there with different companies. But it really was this past year, the past 12 months, when things really heated up, I think, in the space. I think there's just the awareness has just gone through the roof the past 12 months with crypto and NFTs. And, I think that because we have been in this space for a long time and there's been a bunch of articles, we could sort of come out. I don't know. I'm interested to see how you guys found us, because some things, I think just because we've been involved for so long, we sort of come up more in searches and we're in the media a little bit.
Yeah, well, the way it happened was we were looking for a partner. When we first started making our X-Parrot project, we didn't have any aspirations for the XRPL rainforest or X chameleons. It was just solely X-Parrots, but we still wanted to give back somehow, right? And since Miguel is from Central America, he always held that part of his life close to his heart. So it was only fair to give back to someone that he felt so strong about. I'm from Canada. I was born in Canada, so I don't really have that type of connection to the rainforest. But because he feels so strongly about something, we decided that we were going to give it back to the rainforest, and then we started looking. We came up with X-Rain, X chameleons. We started looking, and we were trying to find anyone who was going to accept XRP, but it's very slim out there, right? And then Miguel came across the article on CoinDesk, and I reached out in an email, and one of your colleagues took the email, said, hey, it was really interesting. They really enjoyed it. I believe they sent it over to you, and you connected us to Marina, and then that's how the ball started rolling, and now here we are.
And it's funny because obviously before we reached out to you, we didn't know that you accepted cryptocurrency at that point, so we reached out to other charities as well. But they came back and said, "Sir, we don't accept cryptocurrency. We just don't do that." So we're like, "Okay, how are we gonna do this?" Because the whole idea was we didn't want to have to convert our XRP into fiat in order to send it to you or to our charity. We wanted to do it directly with XRP. And so luckily we came upon your organization, and yeah, it worked. It all worked out, and we're super excited. I think everybody we met, Marina, Sophia, yourself, through the organization, you guys are amazing. Super. We're looking forward to continue working with you. We want to make this project as big as it can, so we can help you as much as we can as well.
Well, that's great. I'm glad you found us.
Perfect. Yeah, we are as well. And I don't know if anyone who's listening now or later on when we have the recording, but if you know that there's going to be an allocation of rainforest NFTs, where all our 5% of our NFTs that we're gifting to the Rainforest Foundation, they will have the Rainforest R on the bottom, so that way you can kind of separate them from not necessarily separate, but the same, but just show that they have a different delegation, which is they belong solely to the Rainforest Foundation. And when you do purchase one with the R, you're giving directly to the Rainforest Foundation. So not only are you getting a really wicked NFT, which holds utility, which we'll talk about later, you're also getting one that is tied to the Rainforest Foundation. And they've been around for 30 years. They're probably going to be around for another 30. So it's something that's going to be around forever.
And we always say, Suzanne, that parrots, they have an average lifespan of anywhere between 50 to 70 or 80 years. So we like to think of our project that way too, where we're not just here for the short term; we're here for the long run. Obviously, you've been around the Rainforest organization has been around for 30 years. I'm pretty sure it's going to be here for 30 more. So we want to be able to be here as well. And as long as we're here, and that's why we have those NFTs allocated to your organization, because then primary sales and secondary sale profits, any secondary sales that happen ongoing, all those profits are going to be going over to the foundation as well, for as long as those NFTs keep trading. So we're really excited about that.
It's fantastic. I love smart contracts.
Yeah. And so technically, since you guys have been around for 30 years, technically you guys are the parrots.
Yeah,
you guys
exactly.
are ready. Hey?
You guys are the original, the OGs, the OGs.
The OG parrots. That's good though.
Well, I wish I was, well, if this was video and I was in my office, you'd see behind me an enormous headdress made out of parrot feathers.
Oh, wow.
Fallen off parrot feathers, right?
Yeah. Yes, of course.
Yeah. Fallen off parrot feathers. Yeah. Perfect. And did you get that from Peru?
No, it's from Brazil.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, kind of like a carnival style headdress, right?
I think so. I would think the Carnival people got it from the indigenous people.
Yeah. You would think, right?
So I guess another question we have here is, so obviously we're not just us, but other organizations are donating to you. So can you give us a little description of how those donations are then dispersed over to the different projects you have, to the indigenous at a high level?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they'll be used where they're needed most. And things change. So, but they'll either be used in any of the countries where we're working right now, depending on where we need it. I mean, it may go to support that lawyer in Panama, to help, a certain, with that case. It probably, at least some of it, will be used to support the monitoring program I just talked about, called Rainforest Alert, because we're expanding that, expanding it in Peru and in all the countries where we work, and we're going to be expanding to Brazil, hopefully next year, or within the year. So it'll be a mix of probably territorial monitoring and the land protection, the land titling work that we do.
Awesome. Yeah, and you guys would jump into Peru. That's a huge land mass to cover as well, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It has the second biggest amount of rainforest in the Amazon outside of Brazil.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah. So
it's huge. Yeah, I was looking at the maps the other day, just to kind of get a little more familiar with the Rainforest Foundation and the areas that they encompass.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Peru is just massive. What a massive place, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've never been, but obviously you see it on TV. It's beautiful. You always hear about Machu Picchu, obviously.
Yeah.
That's the one place you see.
Yeah.
One day we want to go there, of course. So tell us a little more about I guess the drone program that you have. How does it work? How do you get the indigenous people to use it? Just at a high level, I guess.
Yeah. So we have people on our staff that have trained indigenous technicians to use the drones, and they use them. They can put in coordinates into the drone. Like when they see those deforestation alerts, they can put the coordinates into the drone, and then the drone will go and take video of the coordinates. And so they'll do that. A lot of times, if it's dangerous, either they use the drones when it's either dangerous or if it's a difficult place to get to, and it's much faster and easier to use a drone. Yeah. And then they'll come back and they'll look at the footage and incorporate it either into a map. There's all different ways that you can stitch together a map with drone video footage, and use it for advocacy or just for the community to take a look and see what's happening. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Mm-hmm. And I guess in terms of going back to the actual donations, how much would you say is a percentage of crypto donations you're getting at the moment? Is it substantial? Is it a small amount compared to the obviously fiat?
It's substantial.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. And this has really been within the past year. Yeah. we've raised about our count. We have a counter on our website. It's off by a little bit, but it had been about 1.2 million in the past year in crypto.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Yeah. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Shocking. I mean, really, for 4 years, it was about 30,000 total, 40,000. And just this past year, there's just been so many donations and attention. So it's been an incredible help for us.
Yeah, we see it too. Is we've been in the crypto space for quite a while, and I see it like this last. I'm gonna say for the past 2.5 years, it has been absolutely like full speed ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And day by day, you see more articles coming out about banks talking about it, issuing it to their big investors and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So it's only a matter of time before it really kicks off. And having your foot in at this stage in the game, it's only going to benefit you more.
Mm-hmm.
And I know over here in Toronto, there was one of the top banks, CIBC, just made a deal with Ripple to use obviously XRP to be able to transfer between CIBC and a major bank in Australia. So that's coming out to the mainstream now. That major banks are they're adopting crypto
Mm-hmm.
and are going to be able to do their transfers that way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's coming fast and furious.
Yeah. Well, we feel it definitely on the donation side, and the number of the amount of attention. It's fantastic, and we feel it, man. That the transfers that we do a lot of bank transfers, and it's painful every time to pay $50-$70 every international transfer. That's got to change.
Yeah.
So
it's not just the fees, but also the time it takes. I'm guessing 2 to 3 days, possibly sometimes a week, depending on how slow the system is. When meanwhile, obviously, accepting cryptos, at least with XRP. And I know Surfcraft this year, we bought some land from his project. It's literally seconds.
It's seconds. It's like 3 seconds. We were amazed every single time it happens.
We were doing it, and Jackson, who's here listening, he's like, "Wow, I always keep forgetting how fast this is." We're like, "Yeah, that's the whole point."
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, we've been here doing it for so long that even now, when it happens, we're like, "Wow!" And no matter how much you're sending, it's always a wow.
So no, that's amazing. Thank you so much for being here to explain about what the charity does. We're super, like I said before, we're super excited. The minting of our NFTs won't happen until the actual XLS20 is available, which we're hoping in Q2. So Q2 technically starts in a couple of days. So we'll keep you updated as to how fast that goes. But obviously, we're working behind the scenes to make sure that once minting is available, everything's ready, so we can start generating those profits and giving that donation portion over to your organization.
Oh, that's great! I can't wait to see them.
And I don't know if you had a chance to watch our movie.
Oh yes, I did.
Both of them?
Oh no, one.
Oh, okay. We have to send you the second one because okay. So the first one, obviously, you saw the good parrots, the good ex-parrots that are there to save and keep everything nice and peaceful. For the second one, it's all about the bad parrots, the evil parrots that want to take over the rainforest, want to exploit it for all the natural resources. So it's kind of like a little bit of
all the cocoa plants.
Oh, the cocoa plant. Yeah, they're clearing, the guys clearing the acres for the cocoa plants. No, they're not doing that, but it's supposed to be kind of like PG-13, so we're not going to get into that. But yeah, we'll definitely send you that one. I think you like it. And the third part is coming out mid-April, so that kind of puts it all together. And so, it's kind of like a way to kind of represent what our mission is through this project. Mm-hmm. Obviously NFTs, but also helping out, the rainforest as well.
Oh, great. I'll send it over.
Yeah, we'll do. Did you have any other questions? Or maybe the audience, anybody who has a question, anything we didn't ask that you guys want to know a little more about? And again, we are recording this and we'll create a YouTube video about this interview so that we can put it out there. And what we find that usually 3 to 4 times the amount of people who dialed in live, we do have few people, a good amount of people who dialed in, but after the fact, a lot of people do listen in because a lot of our community members do live in Europe or Asia. So at this point, it's really late on their side. They're probably sleeping. So they just wake up the next day and just listen to it, through our videos as well. But yeah, anybody have a question that you want to ask Suzanne? Anything else you'd like to add to that, Mark?
No, I think Zerpcraft might have a question. You can go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for hosting this space, guys. I've got to head out here in a minute, but I just wanted to point out the Rainforest Foundation, the XRP address right now. It just got activated. It just got activated by this Zerpcraft project. So we need to get some transaction history over there. So maybe we could get the QR code posted as like a like pinned to this space so that people could come in and start to fill out some transaction history on that account.
Yeah, definitely. Good call.
Yeah, I didn't realize that it wasn't funded yet, but took the first opportunity. So
okay,
we can get some more people here in the space to throw some XRP their way.
Awesome.
100%.
Yeah, I'll get that posted. I'll actually make another post as soon as this is done. We'll reach out to Suzanne and get it, make sure it's everything's funded and get that all on the go.
Thank you very much.
Perfect.
That's great.
All right, so just quick reminders to everybody who's listening in regards to what's coming next for our project. Some pre-staking for the X-Rain token begins April 4th, so you go ahead, get yourself ready for pre-staking to begin, and our rewards start being distributed April 8th. And we also have a bi-weekly loyalty rewards of X-Rain going out to our X-Parrot and X-Chameleon holders this weekend. So make sure you are enrolled within our tiers, within our Discord. And the one good news that came out is that we are going to be increasing the amount of rewards going to our holders by 1.5 times. So it's about 50% increase in the X-Rain rewards, just in time for the pre-staking to begin. So we want to make sure that our community is able to take advantage of that and be able to get compensated in passive income for their loyalty. Anything else to add to that, Mark?
I think we might have another question from Too Cold.
Too Cold.
What's up, guys? Good morning, or evening, or afternoon, whatever it is.
Good evening, yes.
So I just heard, so are we getting double whammy with X parrots? So if we stake X rain and then being holders, we get also X rain if we register for your loyalty program. I love it here on the XRPL. That's all I wanted to say. Okay.
Perfect. Yeah, we are a given bunch.
It's unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
Okay, any more questions for the Rainforest Foundation, Suzanne? Okay, so Suzanne, thank you so much for being here. We're honored that you came and talked to our community. We are recording this. We're gonna put a YouTube video out there. I'll also send you the movie and also the third part when it comes out. And we'll also put your address, the address for the XRP address for the Rainforest Foundation on our site to get some transactions going there to make sure there's history there before the actual minting begins and you start getting the donations from our project on a monthly basis as well.
Fantastic. Thank you. It was so nice to be here and to talk with you all. And thank you again. And just know the XRP is going to be put to very good use.
Perfect.
So, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. I think we have another question quickly. Yeah, Too Cold, go ahead.
Oh, with that said, I wanted to ask, I don't know if Jackson's having that done, like QR codes being put in Zerpcraft, like if he did that, right, for not only the NFTs, would he be able to put a QR code for your donation wallet for them? For Rainforest?
Yeah, actually, yeah. Well, we did add a couple of our QRs. We don't have the QR code pasted on the website for Rainforest Foundation, but we will get that, and we will post it right beside ours.
So in Zerpcraft too, though, not just the website. I'm saying in Zerpcraft.
Yeah, within the game.
Yeah, in the game, you can fly over the area, and it'll be a huge map. The same way we have our NFTs inside there.
Oh,
it'll be a huge map. Yeah.
Okay, so he is implementing QR codes. Do y'all hear this shit? Like, oh my god. All right.
Well,
Cool.
it's us who's putting them in. So you have to paste a map. So you'd have to put that's a little hard to a little confusing to explain, but we have to paste the map in it ourselves. So we put like the frames and everything, and just paste it on there, and it's good to go.
Okay, still that's so dope. And their Rainforest USA's QR code will be there as well. So yeah, that's hella dope.
100%.
And Suzanne, so Too Cold and Lemmy, they're the ones who came up with our song. So, you know, within the movie, when at the end where the credits are playing, the song you hear, the rap song, the hip hop song, it's Too Cold and Lemmy. I think Lemmy's also on the call as well. Yeah. So they made 2 songs for us. There's another third part coming out, so we're gonna ask him to make a third song for us as well. So you'll hear them one more time.
Yeah, and in the second movie, one of the songs was taken from a little video that you guys have on your website. It's a sounds like a native tribe chant. So Lemmy took that. He liked the beat. He took that and put it into a song. Came out really good.
Oh, great! Yeah, I heard that. I heard definitely. Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right, everyone. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for coming. Hope to talk to everybody soon. Suzanne, you take care and enjoy the rest of the week. Friday, I guess. Saturday, Sunday.
Definitely. Thank you again.
Everyone, bye.
Talk to you soon.
Take care.
Anything we didn't ask?